According to Lubin, crypto is the tail being wagged by a very sick dog, and right now it won't get better until the economy reclaims its lost glory. The general state of the crypto market has affected Cardano ADA and is fostering its recent price slumps. However, this cycle of ADA coin price seems synonymous with Bitcoin's in 2013. Does history repeat itself on rhyme? Cardano ADA led the pack of blue chip cryptocurrencies as investors became cautious of the latest release of inflation data from the US. The entire crypto space has turned into a sea of red, marching in lockstep with the falling equity markets after US inflation came above expectations for September. Market frontrunners such as Bitcoin and Ethereum fared a little better, but the eighth cryptocurrency by market cap is still seated in the lows. The situation is not unfamiliar as it was seen in the records from 2013. Cardano seems to be treading the same path as Bitcoin in that year. But is this a permissible excuse for its excessive failures? In one of his videos, Dan Garbadello analyzed the stark similarity between the performance of Cardano ADA in 2022 and that of Bitcoin in 2013. Referring to the weekly trading charts of ADA, Garbadello revealed that there is a lot of opportunity in ADA for value investors like himself. He shared his perspective and pointed out Cardano is extremely undervalued in the long term. The crypto analyst went further into the Cardano ecosystem and cited various instances to justify his confidence in the ADA Bitcoin resemblance. He started by sharing a short clip of Andreas Antonopoulos' Bitcoin video from 2013, where he was discussing the concept of Bitcoin neutrality. The conference hardly had any audience, and this was around the time when Bitcoin had a market cap of over $1 billion and then headed to the mark of $1 trillion a few years later. Cardano is currently trading at a market cap of $12.27 billion and has been projected to follow the Bitcoin path. Garbadello also emphasized the fact that the blockchain technology for both Cardano and Bitcoin share some kind of similarities. Do you remember what happened to Bitcoin in 2013? The cryptocurrency became a victim of its success as investors piled on the exiting new opportunity that kept buzzing in the mainstream media. Trading was so intense that Mt. Gox, one of the largest Bitcoin exchanges, could not handle the volume, and when it came crashing down, hackers attacked the vulnerability. This forced Mt. Gox into an unplanned and total shutdown, sending prices from nearly $260 to $50. It was an absolute mess. Probably we should go into more detail though. 2013 was a wild year for Bitcoin, and it was when the currency began to draw attention from most investors. The heightened enthusiasm for Bitcoin further propelled prices to briefly trade higher than gold. According to Bitcoin experts, the digital currency was still in its infancy stage and plagued with a lot of doubts and questions. But some investors were not afraid to test the waters. Bitcoin made headlines as the price of a single coin shot up to an all-time high. Although Bitcoin has attracted mass attention in the last few months of the year, it started to gain popularity earlier in the year as a result of the Cyprus banking crisis. With this, Bitcoin prices pushed towards $200, but tumbled to about $60 when the crisis was abated. Then, after a summer lull of relative stability, the cryptocurrency started making headlines again as the latest investment vehicle. The demand in November 2013 was so high that some prices quoted on Chinese exchanges were almost double compared to the exchanges outside of the country. However, Chinese demand for Bitcoin fizzled significantly after it hit its November high after the Chinese government announced that it was cracking down on the currency. Despite its consistent volatility, Bitcoin is the start of the cryptocurrency market, which will continue to grow because it plays a pivotal role in the global financial system. Bitcoin's tragic journey amplifies the fact that cryptocurrencies will always remain subject to volatility in the face of market turbulence and unforeseen situations. The ADA coin price has reflected this a couple of times, as a matter of fact. Back then, people who thought Bitcoin would continue to yield mind-blowing gains had their heads handed over to them when it crashed. But the major belief was that Bitcoin would rise in value again. The one inevitability is its volatility, to which there is no end in sight. The question to ask, of course, is whether we will see a repeat of what happened to Bitcoin at the tail end of 2013. Cardano ADA is currently in the lows, and if it ends up treading Bitcoin's path in 2013, can we anticipate a rise in value? Well, it's going to be different this time as there are many other aspects of Cardano that are capable of attracting attention. The Cardano founder, Charles Hoskinson, has previously said that Cardano was developed for the second wave of DeFi applications. Hoskinson expects the decentralized finance applications to be the victim of crackdowns or regulations from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC for short. According to the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, DeFi is not exempted from regulations and noted it is a bit of a misnomer, emphasizing that there are aspects that are still highly centralized. Gensler's remarks in August of 2021 made it clear that projects in the DeFi space should expect a crackdown, similar to what was experienced by the initial coin offerings in 2017. However, Charles Hoskinson anticipates a new wave of DeFi projects focused on identity and decentralized governance to take over the first generation. The winners of the future in the DeFi space are going to have liquidity and interoperability, the ability to move multi-chain, and finally, cost predictability is such an important thing. It's so bizarre how we just tolerate massive swings in price of doing business, he argued. Also, he explained that DeFi on Cardano will be significantly harder to regulate. Developers in the industry have always felt the need to have a higher throughput blockchain network that is also cost effective. The list of the Ethereum competitors is endless. Cardano, Solana, and Polkadot rank among the top choices for project and traders in the ecosystem. But once the projects that are currently in the commercial pipeline of Cardano come live, there will be millions of users on the blockchain network, thus gaining mass recognition. The Cardano creator thinks that in terms of real-world use cases and emphasis on RealFi, it should be called DeFi++. Well, the developments and upgrade in the Cardano ecosystem are bullish for the native assets price. The managing partner at Moonrock Capital, Simon Dedek, shared the same opinions. Not gonna lie, ADA looks super bullish here. If the market as a whole stays stable, I'm pretty sure ADA is going to retest its previous peak at $3 in no time, he tweeted. While Hoskinson's predictions could be considered bold, he has the right to think so. The rapidly emerging technology on Cardano is at the early stages of adoption, and yet to see the blossoming of various decentralized solutions, including lending and borrowing platforms, stablecoins, NFTs, and NFT marketplaces. Moving ahead, Dan Garmendello recently called Cardano's recent CNFTCon event, which covered a range of Web3 beginners and enthusiasts. The event saw the attendance of content creators and founders in the Cardano ecosystem to think about significant ideas and build together. Revisiting his April video, he talked about some of the builders in Cardano who seemed bullish to Dan, and one of them being NKMR. At NFT Maker IO, is the Cardano game changer not talked enough about. NFTs have exploded on Cardano in the last year, and if we really think about it, NFT Maker is a crucial vehicle that has allowed this to happen. Their minting API allows non-technical people to create and mint NFTs, he tweeted on April 16th. Dan Garmendello went ahead to share the founder of NKMR, Patrick Tobler's tweet, which showed a picture from his panel about royalties at the event with a rather empty audience. From Garmendello's perspective, the empty audience attested that these huge events are still in the budding process, and what it takes to make big names in the crypto space be mentioned is something to ponder. It signifies the opportunity a value investor would jump in on. In turn, it indicates the kind of value ADA holds in the future, although the falling price of ADA testifies otherwise. Lately, crypto has been concluded to be dead. However, this conclusion is only reached when investors are missing the big picture and merely concentrating on the price action. For a better check on how crypto is doing, investors must consider the major recent signs of mainstream adoption. For the past 2 months, there have been several indications that crypto is here to stay. Just like Bitcoin's bullish rebound in 2013, Cardano ADA is set to bring on more big shows of faith. The Cardano ecosystem is still budding, as signs of the future adoption steadily multiply. History could repeat itself, but do you believe that the coin can perform better than history? But what are your thoughts on this? Let us have them in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next video, but before then, check our other videos to find out how Cardano is living up to the dream of being the Ethereum killer. And as always, make sure you click on the subscribe and notification buttons.